Okay, so what's happened in the markets this month? Well, first of all, my Forex funds is dead. It's been taken to court. So I'll give you a brief explanation. Prop firms are basically like unregulated brokers, and a lot of prop firms use real or third-party liquidity providers, whereas my Forex funds was basically doing everything in-house, booking everyone, charging fake commissions, even manipulating the market conditions for basically all the traders. So there were 24,000 live accounts, and of those 24,000, only 100 had ever had a real trade taken. They called it STPing. Kimmel's made a really more detailed video about this, but essentially only 100 traders in the lifetime of my Forex fund's existence are the only people that have ever taken a real trade, and there's evidence that they would do everything that they could to not pay people out. So this is actually the second time I've had most of my funding taken away, and I could get really upset about this. You know, I had a 300k live account, I had a 300k challenge account with my Forex funds, but I've been through this so many times before, and this is trading. Trading is being able to navigate through the bullshit, persevere, and grow from your losses, take lessons from them. This is what makes a successful trader. This is the reality of this industry. Everyone's against you, and it's every man for themselves, which is why having a community and people around you is so important. Anyway, I'm rambling. So regarding my trading this month, I took 5 trades, which resulted in 2.91% of profit. The 5 trades I took, I really like all of them, so I'm excited to talk about them. What else happened this month? Of my challenge accounts, obviously I've lost one now. I've got 2 200k smart prop trader accounts and a 250k E8 account, which is at phase 2. Obviously, maybe these are under threat now, so I need to pass them as quickly as possible. I actually came within a pip of passing 2 of these, the E8 and one of the 2 smart prop trader accounts. I came really close to passing them. So September, it's actually coming up to my 2-year anniversary of trading live when I released one of my first videos, my first ever trade recap, and I made 16% that year, that month. So I'm hoping this September, maybe I'll get some similar results and I can pass these challenges, get my refund, and then I'll be off the hook, you know. So I'll go straight into the trades now. So here's the first trade I took this month. It was a continuation on AU. So let's have a look at this trade. So I guess you could say we're coming from a larger trending market, and this is like an ascending, like a pullback on the way down. So, you know, a market tends to move in impulse corrections. This is how trends look on a higher time frame. So perhaps you could say this is the trend, an impulse, a correction, and an impulse. But to be honest, this is a minor. This is in the back of my head when I'm considering the market phase. I was looking primarily at this leg where in a really nice established trend, we're breaking the lows and the pullbacks are showing no shift. If you look at these pullbacks, they're tiny. This first leg wasn't the best, but you can say with certainty that this is a news candle. It's quite a big bodied candle with large wicks on both sides. If you look at AU trades, actually, this is something to research. They often have a news candle fueling it in the back, either for a reversal. So if price, let's say we had a news candle, either we'll get a descending and a move in the opposite direction, or we'll get a trend from that. Happens very often. A news candle it doesn't necessarily get a trend straight after, but it often is the catalyst for the beginning of a trend. Anyway, I'm rambling again. So I was looking at this leg. For a continuation pattern, you need a continuation of a trend or an impulse. So to me, this is a good enough impulse. We're seeing a larger trend. We broke with a solid close. I wasn't willing to set my order after this break because it would have shown me a shift in momentum to go back up, meaning that if the next candle retraced to my order, which was here, it would show to me that momentum is now to the upside, and I don't want to look for a sell. So I waited for the first candle to see what would happen. It showed no shift, it had a wick on top, and then I was willing to set my order. And price continued down nicely. I locked in profit, reduced my risk, locked in profit, and then locked in profit here. Where else was it? Around here, and then finally above this inside bar. That's where I put my stop losses for this trade. And I actually had my take profit for all my funding accounts right there. So quite unfortunate. I think did it go down? No, I literally right at the bottom of the move, so I did get quite unlucky with this trade, but hey ho. It was a very good trade and I was really grateful to have it, so I'll go on to the next trade now. So the second trade I took was actually 3 weeks later. That first AU winner, I think it was on the first or second day of the month, and then this was on the 23rd, so yeah, 2 or 3 weeks later was my next trade, so a long period of time with no trades. This trade, EU flag, big ascending channel, coming from a range, so this was all quite flat, but you could say that we're kind of ascending here, at least into like a liquidity area, so taking out stops, and then we got this reversal. Really nice momentum. That's one of the main things that sold me on this trade. There was a big wick at the bottom here, so I really wanted to see a range. I wanted to ensure that there was no shift, and I wanted a flat range, because one thing I've learned this month is if it's quite steep, tends to do this. So I generally want a very flat range, because that shows that momentum isn't going up at all, it's going sideways. Generally I want momentum to either be going sideways or down, so that's why this range was pretty good for me. I did wake up late, I missed the initial entry, which worked in my favor this time, and I got in a slightly better price. Negatives of this trade, you could say after this candle momentum looks like it's to the upside, but to me this didn't show a shift. This was just a warning sign, because on the larger scale, if I take this back, momentum is down. Momentum is so obviously down right here, for me at least. After that candle, momentum hasn't shifted, not even a little bit. You could also say that this candle is of a concern. As we know, EU, it's common to build momentum to the upside from an impulse, especially in like an ascending way. So on these legs, I don't want to see any momentum up. And you could say that this candle shows that. So it was really important to me that the next candle retraced, which is what happened. But yeah, this trade is, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It was on a Wednesday. I wouldn't take it earlier in the week, but yeah, I was happy with this trade. So here's the next trade I took. This was a flag on GU. It occurred at the same time as another flag which formed on EU. Both were a little bit steeper, but this one was better than the EU one I'm going to show you in a second. So when I'm looking at this trade, I am seeing that we're coming from a range, but within this range, you could say there's a V and a range, a V shape, you know, how we get this pattern, range, and then a continuation up. But it wasn't that clear, so I wasn't really considering it too much. We got really nice 2-candle impulse. Generally on GU, I'd prefer a little bit of a bigger impulse, but I think this formed on a Wednesday evening. Might not take this earlier in the week because it is a relatively small impulse, but the flag setup itself is really nice. We got all these favorable wicks, but it did form quite quick. You could say it came straight back down. You know, it's quite quick. It would be better if the pullback was a little bit longer, because you don't want it to come straight back. It would be better if it pauses, because that again supports that momentum is in fact to the upside. I've actually been testing entering trades with a smaller stop loss. So normally I'd use 20 on GU, and I did some research and I actually found that all the winning trades on GU that were flags, none of them pulled back further than 10 pips. So I've been testing a 12 pip stop loss for GU flags and a 9 pip stop loss for everything else. In this case, it did work out, because whether you used a 20 or a 12 pip stop loss like I did, you'd have been taken out for a loss. So yeah, if you haven't seen my Instagram post about maximum adverse excursion, MAE, I posted it in my Discord as well, which I will announce when we reach 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, MAE, really important statistic. Look into it. I highly recommend it. Next trade. Here's the next trade. This is, as you can see, quite similar looking to the GU flag. I'd say a little bit less high probability. So if the GU flag was an 8, I'd say this was a 7. And after researching steeper bombs, I probably wouldn't take this now. But primarily just because of this shift. I thought this, I wouldn't even call it a shift. I'd say it's a soft shift. It's starting to show momentum, might want to go to the downside, but the candles after that kind of showed me that they didn't. So at this point, to me, momentum is definitely up, and these 2 candles kind of supported that. If these candles were to have come back much more quickly, say like this maybe, then I definitely wouldn't be in this trade. I really wanted to see the next candles support that momentum was still up, and that's what these two did, because they were small, they had wicks. So yeah, and then again this formed quite quick, basically pulled straight back. Wouldn't take this trade again, I think, but it's actually a really good trade in my opinion. But I wouldn't take it again. I'm trying to be really conservative. So looking back, we're coming out of a range. We started to see a bit of an established trend here. We had a small pullback and a continuation candle, but it had a wick. And then we had a small range, broke and retraced on both sides. But this, to me, didn't show any shift. Momentum was still to the upside at this point because price really struggled to move down. Moved up, small pullback, continued. And then we got this trade. So I actually used a 9 pip stop loss on this trade. And the same thing occurred whether you had 12 pips or not, you would have been taken out. So that is that trade. So the final trade now, this is on EJ. Really nice established trend coming from an ascending channel, arguably coming from a smaller ascending within kind of a larger ascending. But you know, to me, just coming from an ascending channel, looking here, we had an established trend, small pullbacks. We did break the high here, but not putting too much weight on that because we had this really nice impulsive leg afterwards. So we actually got an advanced flag here, which is when we have an inside bar, an outside bar, and then the entry candle. So inside bar here, outside bar here, and the entry candle here. So this was actually the entry candle. This was just before spread hours though, so I didn't enter. And just after spread hours, if you would have entered just after spread hours, you would have gotten in at a better price. I decided against entering just after spread hours. Price immediately came down to this level after spread hours, so you would have gotten in at a pretty poor price. The reason I didn't want to get involved in the advanced flag entry, I wanted to wait for the normal flag, is because of this wick, and you could say there's a bit of a slowdown. You could see how price didn't really break these lows by much. Every candle had a wick. I just wanted to see a few more candles. I wanted to pause because I was really confident that price was going to break the high, so I didn't want to be too keen. I didn't want to get in too quickly. And then I got in, price just tapped me out and then broke the low, but I wouldn't have been able to reduce the risk anyway. I think it just ranged from here. It was a Friday just before NFP, so yeah, there's that trade. So there's all the trades I took this month. Despite everything happening with my Forex funds, prop firms are just a tool at the end of the day. I've lost some accounts, I've lost a little bit of money, but I'm young. Money is not something you keep, you know. Money is there to be used, and I've gained valuable lessons from it. In the future, the prop firm challenges I'll be taking probably won't be based in North America. Unfortunately, the ones I'm already doing are based in North America. But I think while they're focusing on my Forex funds, I can focus on trying to get a payout before they go down. In future, I am going to be looking at prop firms based in Europe. Europe's a bit more slow to introduce regulation generally. Britain normally follows straight after America, but European government, I think, can be quite slow to introduce regulation. So another prop firm I might be considering is Funded Next, because they're based in the United Arab Emirates, where Dubai is, and I think they're quite flexible, I'm sure you can imagine, so that might be where I look next. Otherwise, it's private investment, but for now, just got to try and rinse prop firms while they're still around and while regulation isn't too tight. So there we go. If you want to chat with me, or if you have any questions about these trades or trades that you've taken, I have started taking coaching calls, so the link for that is in the description. Thank you for making to the end of this video. I think this is quite a long one. I rambled quite a lot. I'm feeling energetic today. So if you have any comments, I respond to all my comments. Please like and subscribe to this video, and I'll see you in 2 weeks when I release my next one. Thank you for watching.